I was in Israel on my way to Greece, and it's about 2 a.m. I always check email any chance I can. I check email and I got a letter from Amazon saying you're suspended from our platform. I was away from my business. It was Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I was freaking out. I'm completely, utterly freaking out because I literally built my entire business around Amazon.com. So I had a lot of interesting moments during that period, and then decided that I no longer ever wanted to be have my life savings, which is my business, tied to one company. So I started to really diversify. Started moving more heavily into my own website, eBay, Walmart, Jet, Wayfair, you name it, every single marketplace I can, kind of playing real estate, kind of like real estate, like a monopoly, being on every piece of the board. So I wanted to make sure that if people saw my product, that I got enough eyeball share and wallet share that they would convert into customers. So I started off, like you said, on Upper West Side. I moved to a warehouse in Harlem. From Harlem, we moved to New Jersey, managing roughly anywhere from 15 to 20 warehouse employees in the metropolitan area. And you can imagine the kind of caliber of an employee that you'd hire in a warehouse is different than who I was dealing with on Wall Street. So I wasn't built to be able to deal with these employees. Whether it's smoking pot in the back or whether it's making Irish whiskey in the morning, it just wasn't really part of what I envisioned my life to be. So things started getting a lot more complicated. There was a lot more collusion happening. The warehouse employees started unionizing together. This is how unions are formed. And things started to really crumble. I laid off, I fired the manager, and then of course the trickle-down effect happened. Oh, my best friend just got fired. I'm walking out too, nothing to lose. So my wife, who is the genius, was like, Chad, it's either me or it's your warehouse. One of them is gonna have to go. And so she really helped me decide to outsource my warehouse, which is a very vulnerable place to be. If you imagine taking a big chunk of your business where a lot of the money is made and then be like, I'm gonna give it to somebody else to run. But it turned out to be the best decision I've ever made in business. And it wasn't even my idea. I reached out to a lot of different third-party logistics companies. They were courting me for their business. So I had a list of people that I wanted to contact. And this is also back in the day. Now I think it's becoming a lot more commonplace, but before that, it was not a lot of people talked about outsourcing their warehouse, especially if you're multi-marketplace, selling on all these different channels. So this one boutique company, I started using them and trusted my entire business in them. I actually took some of my warehouse employees that I liked and carried them over into his business and installed them there, and they didn't last more than maybe a week or two, but at least they got comfortable with the processes. And now, there's a lot of intangibles, right? So payroll insurance, payroll itself, warehouse that can expand and contrast with the amount of volume that we're doing. I'm no longer having to wear a quote-unquote wife beater with a cigarette and unloading containers. So there's a lot of intangibles. I'm no longer diabetic. I now run another business. So those are the kind of benefits you can get by outsourcing, which is why I've been so vocal about literally outsourcing every part of things that are either not my core competency or things I just hate to do. I think software can really be a competitive advantage. So I couldn't find a software that fit my business, so we built it. I'm very aware of what's happening in e-commerce, and I was selling a commodity product. So I think a lot of people, including myself here, are struggling with the business that they're in and the business they're becoming. And I thought about what is the business I want to become, and do I want to sell a kitchen sink or do I want to sell the water? And the software for me represented the water. And so I decided to find the problem and solve that problem. It's all about, business is really all about solving problems, right? Everyone here has clients, you're helping them solve whatever problem that they have. And so I found a problem, it was a ripe one, and identified a massive opportunity in the software market. So one of my passions is teaching. I think when I retire, it's going to be a coffee shop and teaching. And so I started dabbling in teaching a little bit for fun at General Assembly, which is a digital company that is experiential learning. People have been there, done that, have courses. They're all over the United States and internationally. So I started teaching an e-commerce course, and I started making really cool friends. And people were like, wow, this is really valuable stuff you're giving out. So one of the people that took my course, I've invested in a few of these businesses too that took the course, but one of the people that took the course was like, Chad, you should have a book. And I was like, book? I don't have time for a book. And she was like, well, no, I know somebody that's gonna write the book for you. And so I she introduced me to this guy that just started writing. We spent a lot of time together, a lot of sessions eating Chinese food in New York City, and we worked on this book together. And so the book is really about my journey and trying to cut through a lot of the bullshit that's in the e-commerce world, because there's a lot of gurus out there that are like, hey, I've done it, I've made $100,000, but I'm making 10 million a year. And there's no voice for the people, like everyone who's doing it. It's kind of like those who know don't say, and those who say don't know. Most of the people that are in my position aren't speaking out and providing value. So this book was really taking exact things that I'm doing in the direct consumer world in e-commerce and sharing them with other people. So it's elevating my presence, it's providing value, it's a business card, and then it's allowed me to get a lot of speaking engagements that I didn't even think about. When I came out with the book, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do my Amazon tactics to get it to best-selling rank, and that's it. But a lot of other fun things that came out of this, like speaking on NPR and speaking a lot more at public events. A big part of what I believe in is karma and reciprocity and giving back. And I always knew that I was gonna be copied. The thing was that there wasn't this Amazon product death cycle that's happening right now. Now there's like armies of people that are being trained to sell on Amazon and private label. And that wasn't the case 7 years ago, but I had the insight to know that this business was not a long-term. This is the business I'm in, but not the business I want to become. So on top of that, like while iPhone came out with the first touchscreen phone, Google copied 6 months thereafter, and that's I think changing across the board on Amazon as well. So people, the window of opportunity now used to be 5 years, which is now 6 months, 3 months. So you have to always go, like Wayne Gretzky said, go to where the puck is going. So I'm constantly innovating, going after new products, and now I'm going after the cannabis industry, going after the baby market, going after the pet market, which I believe has a very large total available market and allows me to come up with the problems in that space I want to solve for. A lot of sellers right now are focusing on how do I get my product to rank high? Or how do I come out with the next spatula or the next garlic press or the next silicone baking mat? And for me, my process is extremely different. I want to see what people are writing, what the customer narrative is. So I read negative reviews constantly. Like my wife will go on a yoga retreat, she'll come back really late at night and she's like, yo honey, what are you doing? And I'm like, babe, I'm on Amazon. And I'm on Amazon digging through these negative reviews. Like Amazon has all these reviews for you to look at for all these products, and I go after the 1 stars and the 2 stars, and I see what people are saying. Like either this product sucks, or it smells, or the shorts are too short, or this diaper pail really doesn't work well, or the diaper replacement garbage bags are really expensive. I hear what people are saying and I target those markets and solve those problems. Amazon is all about compelling content. All they care about is if that person makes the buy, and they get paid a percentage. Google cares about unique content, and they care about impressions and click-through rates. So Amazon is unique where they have a tracking process where if you type in balloons into Amazon, there's a URL, in the URL, they have a super URL that's tracking what you're doing. So there's a QID and an NID number that tracks the keyword you're putting in, and they timestamp it, and then when you actually make the purchase, they timestamp it. And if you don't make the purchase, they also timestamp it. So everything is being tracked, and that is part of the algorithm is A, you want to make sure your listings on Amazon, even if you have a book, right? So I know a lot of people here wrote a book, like your book must be compelling. So it has to be value props in your book that helps people want to make the purchase, because that's what Amazon really is tracking if they go to that buy box and hit buy. And that's part of the rank. That's part of ranking. There's a few other things you can do, but that's one piece I think a lot of people forget is that, like, oh, I just want to make sure I have a lot of reviews. It's not just reviews. It's about quality, titles, bullet points, photos, the why. I don't know if everybody's seen that Simon Sinek YouTube video, the why. And so going after the value prop of why and embedding those negatives that you've read on all your other competitors' books or competitor products, and taking those negatives like Biggie Smalls and putting them into positives, right? You have some negatives, you bring them and make them positive. And I think that's a big part of having solid traction on Amazon listings.